Welcome back, my fellow duplicants, to the Ultimate Automation Challenge. And in the last episode here, we built the very first cooling loop that I have inside of my base. One of many. This one actually works with hydrogen. That hydrogen circulates around, gets cool, then ends up over here, keeping the farm at a nice low temperature. There's going to be other cooling loops that I need to get into the base so that I can control the temperature on a much larger scale. For that, I'm going to need oil or petroleum or water. So, what I gotta do is, first thing is I gotta dig down, and I gotta get down here to the oil reserve. And beyond that, I actually gotta start digging up some of this crude oil. You can see down here, wow, that's under a lot of pressure. That'll probably expand up quite a bit. So once I got that, I'm gonna actually pump that up into an area where I can convert that into petroleum, which will probably happen over here, because that's going to be an area that is in a place that needs to have natural gas, and it's probably going to be a little bit warm for a little while, so I'm going to only have access to that via an exosuit dock. So that'll probably be right over here. Once I have some petroleum, I could probably use that petroleum. I can also use crude oil as well, or, you know, like I said, for whatever, and get access to the, which I already have access to, the anti-entropy the thermal nullifier up here, which I can really use to crank the temperature down of that liquid. So once that liquid temperature drops, I can then pipe that out through the rest of my base over here and just complete the ultimate spaghetti challenge, which is trying to cool everything with liquid cooling and also pipe everything where it needs to go. Yeah, ridiculous. There's been some more news. You guys were talking about it in the comment sections over here in regards to the actual space. Apparently this was not totally accurate, but I got a fun plan that I'm going to roll with over here, because you know what? I like to roll with fun plans. So I'm just going to do that, and then I'm going to show you what I've done. It'll be a little bit of a surprise. Well, maybe they'll probably see it. I think one of the more important things is I got to try to get some of these eggs out of here. I really got to do something with the eggs, actually. And you know what? Now that I got this farm going on, I don't really need this up here at all. So I'm going to uproot all of these, and we'll also harvest those too. Oh, and we were talking about the extra liquid. There was a recommendation over here for actually growing pinch of pepper plants. And that seems a bit more interesting to grow than, you know, just growing reed fibers. Although reed fibers are also another good source that I can use to get rid of some of this extra polluted water that I have going on here. So let me actually just rework this. I promised you guys I wasn't going to show you this every time I rework it. So look away. Alright, so I'm just going to grow these over here. I really don't need a whole lot in order to make those work. So, just some hydroponic farms. And that'll pretty much be it. Once I get the liquid pipe plugged in, I'll just come over here and then just, you know, route right in. Alright, so this is where I'm going to do a lot of my refining for the oil once I get it. So inside of here will be my oil refinery, so I'll be able to pipe that in and then pipe it out. I probably can throw some other equipment in here as well. I know I have a generator because I'll be giving off natural gas, which also means I'll get some polluted water as well. So I get 90 grams a second of natural gas out of this unit when I'm running it. The cool thing about it is I can use 90 grams a second in my natural gas generator. So that is producing 800 watts, and this one's consuming 480 watts. So there's actually a nice trade there. However, I will have to run a water sieve, and that uses 120, so it's not going to be a ton of power, but at least I'll have a little extra water out of this thing. Oh, Bubbles! Bubbles, are you serious? How did you end up? You found an opportunity to get stuck. I might have to make this bigger in order to get an auto sweeper inside here. Somebody want to help Bubbles out? Anybody? Just need a little iron ore. That's all. Nope. Would rather take a shower. Take that, Bubbles. Nobody wants to help you. Luckily, you have some igneous rock right there, so you might be able to get away with this. Ha! Build yourself to freedom, Bubbles! And then deconstruct. Okay, there was one comment that was talking about storing this extra water, and what you don't see here is that there's actually quite a bit of polluted water in this exact same spot. Now you look at that, 355 kilograms right there, and you can see how many different actual bottles of water there are there. I can let this build up for a while, and I actually have sometimes, depending on whether this is active or not active. However, I think what I'm trying to do here is sweep up the rest of the bottled water, because I had some, yeah, like this area over here, and these are kind of germy, because people have made a mess recently. But the idea is that when this thing is off, more or less, people are not, you know, really transferring that over here to this bottle emptier. All I'm doing is sweeping it. I don't know if that made sense at all, what I was just trying to say there. I guess what I'm trying to say is I can store extra water there by just stacking up bottles. It's quite a bit simpler, isn't it? More simple. Quite a bit more simple. It's kind of been a long day. My English isn't doing too well here. Build the ladder. Dig around. Yes. All right, some of the other things I've been up to recently. I've been working on my 3D printer quite a bit. I've actually been working on the frame for the outside. As it turns out, it actually takes a long time to build a box. Mostly because I'm tried to go a little bit cheaper than I probably should have. Therefore, things are kind of a little warpy, and I got to do a lot of extra work to make it, you know, work. Oh well, there we have it. The price was right. It just takes an extra 4 hours to make. Also on the 3D printer front, I found a sweet deal where I got a bunch of ABS for like $9 a roll, which was super cheap. Then I spent the last 3 hours here trying to figure out how to get it to stick to the bed, and also realizing that, wow, ABS, I forgot how stinky it was. Maybe it's $9 for a reason, because nobody likes to use it anymore. But now I have 3 kilograms worth of it. So I'll put it to good use. But seriously, how could you pass up a color like this? Wow, super hot. There's gotta be a use for that. And then this one, look at that, it's so green, it makes everything invisible. What was that? Oh, let's take a look at the gas overlay. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at how well that's looking. See? English is working good today. Look at how good that is looking. It looks beautiful. It looks so cold, and it looks like it's just keeping that temperature down. And you know what? It looks like it might be helping out the base just a little bit. It's good stuff. How much progress have I made down here? Not a thing. I'm glad I can make a lot of progress down there. All right, so in case you're wondering how I solved the liquid problem here, I actually piped it past the water sieve. So if it can't just run right into the sieve, it should then go over here to the farm. Maybe that'll work. Hopefully. Hey, don't be slime lunging up in here. It's not cool. All right, so back to what I was doing over here, because I got distracted for a little while. What I have going on is I'm going to have the natural gas generator inside of here with the water sieve and the oil refinery, everything in one room. And then down here on the bottom, I will have a little bit of a liquid pump. Boom! With a little bit of automation signal eventually, once I find the right tab again. I'm going to put the hydro sensor right down there and connect that back over to the pump. So once I have enough, I can then run that liquid over here into the sieve and then just get nice clean water out of the whole unit. So what should happen here, if everything is correct, is that this should be a self-powering unit that will consume the gas that is inside of its own environment. So if I put the natural gas generator right there, I then have enough to make that work. And I could just do the door like that. There we go. That'll make it easy. Okay, so here's where we could do something that's a little new that I've never really done before, at least in this situation. So what I'm going to use is a gaseous sensor, and what it's going to do is determine once I have natural gas in this area. I'll tell you what, and we're going to give it a little bit of an atmospheric sensor. So I'm guessing there's going to be oxygen above this. Natural gas is a little bit heavier than that, so it should build up down here in the bottom. So once natural gas gets up this high, and once the pressure in this area is high enough, then I will turn on the pump that runs it to the natural gas generator. Ooh, but that pump will probably need a filter. So out of that will flow natural gas. Carbon dioxide is going to be in this area too. I'll figure out what to do with that in a minute. Up, out, oxygen. I don't know what to do with that one just yet. I suppose we could pump oxygen. Oh, there we go. I can't get to that. And I can't guarantee that it's going to be oxygen also. You know, this unit really needs to be 1 tile deeper, which means everything has to move down. All right, there we go. Did I make that shorter? No. So now I need an AND gate here, like this, which will then run the pump. And then that, again, will... ha! And an auto sweeper can live right there. Ooh, oh, hang on. An auto sweeper can live right there when you turn it, which means I need a loader and a receptacle as well because sand. That's a lot of planning for one little room. Speaking of which, how's my plants doing? Body temperature, too low. Well, okay then. Okay, so this is what I was talking about as far as polluted water. You see how they'll have all these bottles here? 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. So I can really store up a lot of extra water there. Actually, now that I've cleaned up all the messes, well, just about, hang on. Still gotta sweep this one up. Sneaky. I don't want to get germs in there if I can avoid it. I can actually leave the priority on this a little bit lower, but just turn the sweeping up higher so that it will move. The duplicants will come and pick that up and clean it. That way I don't have to leave this up real high, you know. Look at how well this farm is staying nice and cool, right around 25 degrees Celsius. It's just working really, really good. You can see here that this is actually working as well, because that sieve can keep up with that shower, so that's actually working. It's not overflowing unless it was to back up or something like that. Once these duplicants get around to actually making some insulated tiles. All right, so I just had a problem here where Bubbles, she dug down and then she started going over here and doing a lower priority task. So then I looked up to see what rocks she had nearby, and she has sedimentary rock, and I had igneous rock down here. So I re-tasked or rescheduled this with the rock that she has nearby, so now she can continue to dig down as I'd like her to do. So that actually worked out really good there. So for those of you just looking to get stuff done, always keep an eye out for what materials are nearby what it is you're trying to build. Ooh, what do we have down here? Another little something. Might be able to explore and see what we have. I also forgot about this guy over here, just about nearly got to it. All right, so here's another example. She actually stopped digging here and decided to go right back up over there. So I ran out of sedimentary. I got to go back over to igneous because that's what's nearby. So if I queue that up as a 6, there she goes, right on back down, and she'll just continue to pull from here, dig, build, all the way down. Because if I take a look at the sub-priorities, this is 6, that's 5. I want to uncover this down here and really fill this area up with some crude oil. Ooh, we're getting down near the magma too. That could be very useful. You know what? It's time for an egg cracker. I'll go ahead and put that down here. And I'll use this just to kind of get rid of some of these normal hatchling eggs. At this point, I have, there's the secret. A bunch of doors. You can jump around on the bunch of doors. I decided to make a little jungle gym for him. I mean, why not? Is it necessary? Is it beneficial? No, apparently not. But is it fun? Yes. And that's why I'm doing it. And here's the better part, is that even if they were to poo, I'm going to hook them up to an automation signal so everything drops to the bottom. So if I select hatchling egg and then just say continuous, then I'll be able to process that. And I can get rid of that and just do a continuous on omelet. So once I have a raw egg, there we go. First off, it'll be stored, and then I can actually just put it right in the grill and cook. I'll need to convey the eggshell around though, for when I need lime. Okay, how are we doing? Yes! There we go. Look at all of that crude oil. Beautiful. I love it. Okay, so now to stick a pump way down here, so I can start to pump that crude oil up. Ooh, what do I got for pipes? Well, I already know I don't want things to be too hot here. It doesn't matter down here, because it's already kind of in an area that's going to be hot. But after I'm done with that, I will want it to run through a bislight, so it's nice and cool. Actually, in this case, I think insulated pipes are just the way to go. Tell you what, I'll do a bislight pipe up to here, you know, while we're in this like kind of nasty biome. And then once I get up to the place where I have more equipment, then I'll switch over to insulated pipes to make sure that no heat's kind of getting out of there. It's a lot of construction, but I guess that's what it takes. What? What's going on here? Whoa, hang on. This is cool. I didn't even think this would happen, but I now have floating hatches. Because why not? Oh, and look at the room. Nope, it's still... Well, there you have it. That's a little something different. I certainly was not expecting that to work quite like it does. Clearly, I'm just going to leave it like that. That's weird enough that it's just perfect the way it is. You know what I'm not doing, which I should be doing, is I need to ship. No, I don't need to ship that. What do I need to ship up there? Sedimentary rock. There are so many things to build in this base. Build this, build that, build this, building a giant power line from here all the way up. Finish this box so I can grow some pinch of pepper plants. Please. I don't think I've ever had a Benji quite like that. It's like it melted sideways. Like, how did it melt sideways like that? I've seen some crazy things, but never that. Oh. All right, so how are we doing? Well, all my hatches are randomly floating in air. It's funny, I put in this obstacle course over here, and now I've managed to capture all of my hatchlings and hatches in this one over here, the ranch on the right. And none of them are on the stable on the left, so while the doors are a cool thing, they're probably not a good thing to really have going on there. So even though it pains me to do this, I'm just going to deconstruct all of them. Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to do here. Is I want to pipe this over to a piece of equipment that's going to take the carbon dioxide and then turn clean water into polluted water and then just cycle back around. So a carbon skimmer, that's the name of that. So this will run down to a carbon skimmer with a little bit of a gas vent right there. Again, I'm going to use some automation as far as an auto atmospheric sensor. That way it only runs when there's enough in here to really care about. Oh, here's a cool thing. So the output temperature from this skimmer is actually going to be at a set temperature. I think it's like 30 or 40 degrees Celsius. So I can actually use that to pull away some of the heat and then recycle it back around so that the next time it runs through, it deletes some of that heat. Oh, and here's another cool way we can get rid of some of that heat as well. The natural gas generator gives off water at the temperature that the unit is. So if I use this pipe over here, knowing that it has a set temperature on the way out, I can then run it to a little bit of a radiant pipe right next to it, and that will cool the natural gas generator somewhat. So it'll try to pull away some of that heat that it'll be giving off. So the liquid system will look something like this. I'm going to have crude oil coming in, petroleum out, and then polluted water over here, and that's going to go past the natural gas generator. And at that point, it's going to try to pull away some of the heat before it goes back up into the sieve and then comes out as clean water. Clean water will flow through here first and kind of build up a little bit of a charge. And if I have extra clean water, since we should be getting some out of the natural gas generator, I can take that and just pipe that over to somewhere else where it'll be useful. Oh, fishies. I could do something with the fishies. All right, well, unfortunately, I am simply out of time today to play the game. And I'm tired, so I'm going to go to bed. We did not get the system up and running today, and it looks like it's still going to take a while. I got a lot of wires to build yet, and a lot of plumbing to do, and figuring out where that's going to go. So that'll have to happen here in the next episode. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this little episode here of Oxygen Not Included. We saw some interesting things with the hatches over here. Yeah. And we also have a plan for the overflow, at least, of the polluted water. Right now, it's not quite up and running just yet because it's kind of got pushed to the lower priority, but what I'll have inside of here is a little heater, and that'll, be able to get the body temperature up to at least 35 degrees Celsius. It's close. It's very, just a couple of degrees, and then it'll be up and running. So that'll have to happen here in the next episode. If I've earned your subscription, then thanks so much for that. Have a great day, guys. Stay awesome. Peace. Brothgar out.